What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? This is Miguel, host of Lifeful Circle Radio, and I'm trying to get everything straight over here. Let me see. Is that what I want to do? Nope. I want to do this so I can see y'all over here. What's going on? All right, so let's get into it. It's summertime. We on this week, and I think we was off last week. I think we had something else going on. What's going on, my man Andre Sias? What's up? He's in the building. All right, so this week we're gonna talk about weaponizing social media. A lot going on. If you guys go on Instagram right now, you'll see that Russell Simmons is being drugged by his ex-wife and his kids, or at least one of his daughters, is really wearing him out on social media. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the Antia Baker baby facing. I don't remember if we talked about that last week, but we're gonna talk about it again if we did, because we're talking about cyberbullying. We're talking about weaponizing the social media. So we're gonna dig into that, and then I'm sure Kia's got some stuff that I forgot about that we'll talk about as well. So y'all strap in, make sure y'all go ahead and share this out. Let's get into this conversation. Super producer,
what's up? What's going on?
Man, this week is interesting. So yeah, you look a little moist. What's going on?
A little. You guys, this dewy effect is not from makeup. This is literal sweat. Why? Because our AC decided, hey, I'm sleepy. I'm going to take a nap. And I'll see you guys in August or September, whenever it gets cool. So it is hot. But luckily, we have someone coming to service the AC tomorrow to figure out what a brand new AC unit decided we're just going to be hot.
Yeah, 2 years in, you shouldn't be having a problem with AC. So hopefully they got you covered. All right. So anyway, it's been, the week is flying, the month is, I don't know. Well, your kids are still young anyway. June is almost gone. Here in Georgia, they get 2 months off from school. June is almost gone. We've been busy.
It's like Devin. You keep forgetting Devin is also out.
I always forget about Devin. So you get it. So you guys, is it the end of May? So y'all get June and July off and you right back at it just like us?
Well, no, Devin does summer school. So the ESC kids in Florida get an option to go to summer school, which is a great program. And at his age, they're teaching life skills. So that goes all of June. He's really only off all of July and maybe 2 weeks in August. And then he's back in school again.
Yeah, well, we, August the 1st or 3rd, we'll be back on the grind. So this weekend, we decided to act like we was 20. So, for people been following the show, we got 2 daughters that are playing basketball, so they keep us going. So we had the basketball tournament this weekend. Girls are doing really well. They're getting ready to have their last tournament in a couple of weeks, and then we'll get a couple of months off on tournaments. But so we said, my wife's like, okay, the Kappa takeover is in D.C. So we live in the A. And I was like, okay, but the girls got a basketball tournament. She's like, it's cool. We'll just hop on a flight and then we'll go and then we'll come right back. What time was our flight Sunday morning? Oh, it's so
y'all left the event and headed straight for the airport?
We headed straight for the airport. We changed in the Delta Lounge in DC, went to the joint, to the Kappa takeover. And then by 4 o'clock in the morning, we had to get back on to the airport. And
did you guys even get a hotel room, or were you guys just like in and out?
No, we got peoples in DC, so we were kind of okay. We were kind of okay with that, but when I tell you,
Tracy do. because Miguel and Tracy came to a baby shower here in Orlando, which I crashed. Awesome moment of my life. And then that party lasted until I want to say 3:00 in the morning, and y'all flight was at 7. You were like, "We got an hour nap. We back at the airport." I was like, "Whoa, that is."
Yo, when you do that,
oh, you guys look so cute.
It was fun. It was fun. That's our girl Tracy, Tracy's best friend Tracy, and we were at the MGM Grand. The Kappas took over. Let me see if we can get to the part where they get to. Let me go ahead and give you a little.
Had to pop to the crib for a minute. Kappa's making it look good. Kappa's making it look good.
I'm gonna need the Kappa Alpha Psi organization as a whole, alumni and younger guys, stop doing these all white parties. I beg of you, please stop doing the all white parties.
That's the summertime thing. It's summertime. Only thing missing was Frankie Beverly and Maze. That's about it. So anyway,
that really was. That looks like a beautiful.
It was amazing. I ain't gonna front. We had a blast. You know, right there in the MGM Grand is right there. Whatever body of water is right there by the MGM Grand. So the breeze was coming off. When I tell you, it was a nice flow. So we had ourselves a blast. But Sunday morning, I was back at that gym because, mind you, where they had the tournament was it was like an hour and 15, 20 minutes from the house. So.
That sounds like pure torture. And see, you're a better parent. I know when Leela and Noah get to that point, me and Omar are probably gonna be like, just get up, get the coffee going, and we go get in the car. We just gonna head to it.
Yeah, you know when that soccer and all that stuff gets started with your youngins, y'all gonna be right there in the midst. So anyway, all right. So let's jump real quick. Shout out to my mans and them, the Sias brothers, my Mississippi brethren. Hanging out with us today, and I know you coming in a couple of weeks, and we see you when you get here. You and the family, can't wait to see you. All right, so we want to talk today about this cyberbullying and how people are weaponizing social media and all this type of stuff is what we want to talk about today. So,
from personal experience, I can bring up about Father's Day that I was like, "Are you guys serious right now?" I didn't make a comment. I didn't make a post about Father's Day from my dad and my brother or Omar. People actually messaged me, "Well, why didn't you make a post about them?" I'm like, "Are you on crack? What are you talking about?"
And
I didn't even hit up Miguel. Like it's just.
And I'm not tripping. I know. I'm not tripping. It is because here's the thing. I was so busy yesterday that I didn't even hit my own father or my father-in-law up, and they know I love them. I tell them I love them every day. I ain't got to wait till the third Sunday in June to express that. But if they feel any kind of way, Pops, love you, man. Dad, love you, man. Happy Father's Day. But here's the funny thing about this. You know how Mother's Day, y'all get all the love. It's all about the moms on Mother's Day the whole weekend, actually the whole week. Now we got to share with Juneteenth.
Let's just do this for 5 minutes. Mother's Day sucks because think about it.
Okay, I'm listening.
When you're a mom and you have a mother, your mom now wants you to come spend time with her, and she wants you to bring the kids. So it's no longer about you having a good Mother's Day because now you got to wrestle 3 little jerks who don't really give a damn about Mother's Day because they don't understand it. We got to get them dressed and get them at the door. And get them to go see your mother-in-law, who ignores you the entire day, no matter what gift you give her. I need
to get a violin sound effect for you when you get into one of these rants. I'm telling you. But you know, it's now, you know, today being Juneteenth, let's not forget about that. And me being from VA, people who can relate, who are from the East Coast, we ain't grew up celebrating Juneteenth, so we learning along with everybody else.
I've been celebrating Juneteenth since I was 10 years old. Thank you to South St. Pete education system and all the programs my mother had me in. It's not lost on me, but let's just backtrack. You know who didn't have a good Father's Day, I don't think, is Russell Simmons. Simmons had a
It was actually terrible. It was a terrible deal. And while you go ahead and talk about it, I'm gonna try to see if I can pull up. All I gotta do is go to Shade Room. The Shade Room got it right there. But go ahead and tell it. Go ahead and set it up.
Daily Mail, Rolling Stones, everybody is covering this. This is what I will say. Let's do the first story first. So Russell Simmons' daughter, Aoki, and Ming put posts out there. Ming, who seems to be the quieter of the sisters, just wished her mother a happy Father's Day. Not the many stepdads that she had, because let's be real, she's had 3 since her father. She just said happy Mother's Day or happy Father's Day to her mom. A lot of people jumped on Ming. So Aoki felt like, you guys don't actually understand what's going on. So then she posted numerous posts about her father yelling at her, cussing at her having to block him, and he hits up her boyfriend and other friends. And then finally their mother, Kimora Lee, came out and said, yo, y'all think this is all about the money? He hasn't paid for a thing in years. Like, he moved to Bali. And what's funny is because she basically said, up until 3 years ago, and by the way, if you think about it, Miguel, that's when the rape allegations came out. Up until 3 years ago, they have had a good relationship, and we've seen that. He's been involved. They've been cool. When she's gotten married, all those times, he's always kind of put a cute post out. It seems like up until the last 3 years is really when the core kind of aggression has happened. And the videos Aoki posted of him just screaming at her
with no audio.
So we don't know what he's saying.
We don't know what he's saying, right?
Well, you're a father and you're a grown man. So what's your opinion on this?
So my opinion on this is part of the reason why I named this show today what it is, right? It's not our business what's going on with them, but they've made it our business, right? And so I saw her as in, which one is this? This is Aoki. That is Aoki. Aoki, in comments and things, are basically saying, folks are saying, we've been dealing with this for years. I'm trying to figure out what it is she was looking to accomplish by making this public, right? So I know Russell Simmons ain't no saint, not even close. I've heard him on podcast years ago, and we talked about it on this show about him and his relationships with women and things of that nature. Now, mind you, I'm also a man, and I know a lot of that can be bluster. A lot of that is just I'm running my mouth trying to show everybody I'm the big man who did what I wanted to do with whoever I wanted to do it with, whatever. What I'm also reading is that you said 3 husbands. I haven't paid attention to Kimora Lee Simmons in years. So she's had 3 husbands since Russell.
Digimon Hansu, right? Digimon Hansu.
I remember she was married to him. Yes, I remember she was married to him.
And then she was married to the financier, whose last name is Wolf, who's now under FCC indictment in multiple countries.
Okay.
She was married to him. She was married to Russell Lee Simmons, and then she had a long-term partner.
So
she has 5 kids from 4 different men, I think is what it is.
So isn't at least 2 of them with Russell?
2 with Russell, and then the other 3 are with her other 3 husbands or partners. Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. What I've read is that the financier that you're talking about was the thief, right? That supposedly, right? And so that their lifestyle was being financed by selling stock that Russell, I guess, had ownership as well with Kimora Lee Simmons. So in essence, he feels like they stole a bunch of money from him, right? As in Russell. And so, that you $250 million is a lot of money, right? Now, the other thing, when I saw Aoki was talking about, he cut me off, he won't even send me money to pay for this, that, and the third. But everybody, I'm hearing these comments about Kimora Lee Simmons got her own money. So if she got her own money, then there shouldn't even be a conversation between the 2 of them about money. Right.
So there's an additional amendment she made to that. Apparently she was saying, I've never asked for money, but if something came up at college or whatever, he's never sent me money. You know how when you were in college, and we're not rich, so we'll say a low person things like you run out of toiletries, or whatever, or you need a little cash for parties, your parents would send you money. I'm assuming what she's saying is, when I needed a little bit of help or something actually came up, my mom is who I went to, not my dad.
But see, that doesn't make any sense to me. That's regular people conversations. These people are wealthy, right? And right. For years, we know that she's still carrying, after all these marriages, her stage name is still Kimora Lee Simmons. She's still running around with Russell's name. She's still making money off of being a Simmons, right? And so
she absolutely has, which I'm with you. I don't understand the point of that when you've been, I forgot her other husband's names, but she was never Mrs. Hansu. And he's a famous actor. He's not even some BS actor. He's a famous actor. So
Right. So the whole thing about the whole thing about Russell hasn't done anything for them. Russell did everything for them. You know what I mean? It was like, it was him in the beginning. Yeah, everybody said, well, Kimora, she had her own money. She was a model. She ain't had no Russell Simmons money back in the late 80s, early 90s.
But then we have to go back to how that started.
Mm-hmm.
Russell started dating her when she was 16.
Mm-hmm.
So did she ever have to have her own money? That's some predator stuff, by the way. He was 32, she was 16 years old.
Yeah, that to me, if you're 32 dating a 16-year-old, I have an issue with that, right? But I can't confirm. I don't know. You know what I mean? Did he get married before then? I don't know when they got married. I'm not that engaged.
They got married when she was 18.
Okay, so she was 18. She was officially grown. But I know that Russell is the type of dude who has predator ways. Russell, I would not let my children be around or go to any parties with Russell. Russell's the type of dude, he want everybody in that room to be coked up, everybody to be, Russell is that type of guy. Okay, so with all that being said, that's 30 years ago. Russell now, supposedly, his money is all tied up. I don't even know. My problem is going back to why we titled the show What We Did. Aoki Simmons and Kimora Simmons are sitting back and they dragging Russell. Like, you posting a video of him angry in this video, but there's no audio. We don't know what that girl was saying to him. We don't know if she was gaslighting. We have no idea. Go ahead.
Really quick, devil's advocate. This all started because Ming said Happy Father's Day to her mom. Then
gaslighting.
No, but wait. Mm-hmm. Then not Russell, the community, us, not me specifically, you specifically, but then social media started dragging Ming and saying, how dare you? Why aren't you saying Happy Father's Day to your dad? Just going off on her. Then Aoki thought, this will be a good time for me to defend my sister and tell the people what's going on. Okay. And then that's, I feel like, when it snowballed into something that it shouldn't have been. Right. I feel like Ming probably shouldn't have made that post. It should have just been a fake Happy Father's Day to one of the men that your mom is married to, dated. Just say Happy Father's Day to one of them. Doesn't matter. Or be quiet.
That's another bit of toxicity that's in our society now, where single moms or divorcees want to drag these fathers. No one, anyway. Go ahead, finish up.
No, you're right about that. I think they should have been quiet. And it spiraled because, as any big sister would, because Aoki is older, you want to defend your little sister when people are dragging her online. And it just turned into something that it shouldn't have turned to. Now, do I feel like Aoki and Ming as adults are not realizing that their father is a sexual predator and that's triggering for them as daughters, like it would be for any child? Come on now, Miguel. If you found out... Okay, go ahead.
In this era of social media, they've known that for a long time, right? They've known that for a long time. That's not something there are plenty of people who live with fathers and mothers and family members that are toxic, and you still, I don't condone, let me just make this crystal clear. I ain't condoning nothing that Russell has done in his private life that I've heard about. But the point is, I've heard about this. I'm of the mindset that it's not. There are things that have gone on in my private life, and I'm nowhere near as visible as these people are. There are things that have gone on in my private life that is none of y'all's business. Yeah, and not you, kid. You know what I'm talking about. But it's none of everybody's business.
Well, no, I get what you're saying.
And that's the part that is like, okay, but you're inviting this type of energy. When the king came down, and we'll talk about Anita Baker and Babyface in a little bit, but when Anita Baker got in these Twitter comments and started responding to people who have faceless avatars dragging you about putting Babyface off your tour, eventually you gotta take this phone, hand it to somebody, or turn it off, because it ain't gonna get no better. There's people out here. There are AI out there that are programmed to just troll people. You may not even be arguing with a real person. You know what I'm saying? And so it's crazy when I look at this stuff, when I look at this young lady and the stress that I'm looking at her in this video, and I'm saying to myself, these people who live in public, I just can't imagine the stresses that they deal with, and some of it is self-induced. And that's the part that really bugs me. It's self-induced.
Some of it is self-induced, but some of it is, again, I go back to what Ming posted and what other people are always saying about her dad, that as soon as a celebrity, a child, says something about their parent, It always goes back to money. Think about Romeo. When Romeo came out about his dad, it went back to, your dad gave you millions of dollars and blah, 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 blah. You should just be happy. And it's just like, but I'm a child and I just wanted a dad and I'm not getting. Hey, listen, let me tell you something right now. In about 10 years, how you think Nick Cannon's children are going to act?
They're going to be wilding. It's, you know, his oldest kids have got to be preteens now, right? So they got to be 10, 12,
Moroccan
somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah.
Moroccan and Monroe are 12, and either they're being trained by Mariah Carey's media team.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of pictures with him, they kind of look like, hi, Dad.
And
Thanks,
that's just
Dad, for
it,
the
you know.
party.
And you don't have to be a celebrity to make those type of mistakes in your personal life with your kids. You know,
right.
I am so intentional about doing and spending as much time with my children as I possibly can, right? There are things, there's pros and there's cons, and there are different challenges that people go through. Sometimes we make a decision to say, okay, it's about my career, it's about me making this money, than it's about me living with my kids. And then some people find ways to balance that out. And then when they make all this money, they look up and they're grown and their kids are grown and they won't have nothing to do with them. You know, and
let's think about our Father's Day. The show we had when Life on Circle Radio first came back with the two dads, who one, you know, my brother who has multiple children, and Eric Baez who has one child, having to make those decisions about being a parent and having life and you know, spending time and agreeing with the baby's mother. It can be like playing chess, or you playing spades. It's one of those two things.
It's no joke, bro. It is no joke when you're dealing with those situations. But anyway, so when it's all said and done, I always kind of take this position in these scenarios that we don't know everything. We don't know everything. Russell's toxic, but that doesn't mean that Kimora Simmons ain't toxic. I think a lot of these celebrities do not know how to balance out their lives and say, you know, if I'm Kimora Simmons, I don't go online and validate the behavior of my daughters by further dragging and I expect that from a 20-year-old. I don't expect that from someone who's 45 or 50, whatever Kimora Simmons is now.
I agree with you. There's low expectations with Kimora. You've been with 4 men, and all 4 of the men ain't ish. That seems weird to me. That seems odd.
Well, it kind of sounds like you're the common denominator, right? You know, you kind of go into these relationships and they're business relationships in a lot of ways.
You dated a man who is sexually assaulting women, talking about Russell Simmons. Digimon Hansu's an actor, another unnamed black man that I don't really know who that person is, and a white guy. Now, you went to the white man, okay, cool, who, I'm not saying they're like a racist way, I'm just saying he started dating a white guy who turns out to be a straight up thief on multiple continents. Asia.
Who steals your ex-husband's money.
Now, I don't know about that, but I know he stole the money from several banks, several large financiers, which to me is just like, okay, you stole Russell Simmons' money, that's messed up, but now you're stealing money from the HR program at some London hospital?
He's a rat.
Why?
So you know, when it's, and if I'm in that scenario as a Russell Simmons, man, that's whew. Yeah, I mean, you talking about $250 million, and this is my ex-wife, and the dude that she married to now is draining my money dry, selling stock in my business because I want to say I believe that Russell and Kimora were still in business together, and that was how they were able to sell that money and move that money. But anyway, so moving on.
Even funnier. And let me tell you why I also think that Kimora Lee is toxic, and we can move on.
Yeah.
Digimon Hansu, her ex-husband, the actor we've said multiple times, actually wanted to get full custody of their son Kenzo. He fought for that, apparently, according to articles, for years to get full custody for that boy to live with him. And because of the money from maybe Russell Simmons' estate and her new husband, he lost. And that to me seems like that might have been the better opportunity for Kenzo to go live with his father in London or in Africa and wherever was better.
That's a whole different conversation. When you start talking about that's a whole different deal. It really is. You know, very seldom do men win those type of custody cases. And of course, Kimora Simmons is Kimora Simmons. She's got resources. She got money. So, you know, she could fight it, have the best attorneys and all that. there's some people, man. I'm just like, man, I don't know why people want to be celebrities, man. I would still want to stay away from that level of celebrity, man, so bad, because it's just trash. It's just trash, the lives that they're living, man. And I just feel sorry for them, for these kids who've grown up in this toxic type of environment, and now it's time to see what's going to happen from all of this. But I think they said that the reason why Russell's living in Bali because he can't come back home, because I think he was a part of one of those predator situations. Are you reading something? What you got?
Yes, he has 11 women accusing him of sexual assault, so he's living in Bali because he can't come back in the States, because if he does, he's going to be arrested on federal and local rape charges. Now, Tim Leissner, her current husband, I didn't even realize it was this big. Mm-hmm. Leissner helped orchestrate the One Malaysia Development Bernard scandal, one of the biggest financial scandals in history of the world, in which billions of dollars were stolen. He was arrested in June 2018 in Washington, D.C.
That's the one that's locked up now? Oh, this is another dude.
This is the one that is the white guy.
This the one that's supposed to stole the money from. So at that point, $250 million, that's just small change in comparison to what he probably was moving around. So, them people, man, social media and social media exasperates all of these people's worst characteristics, man. It's just crazy. So anyway, but as we talked about weaponizing, social media, I just look at this thing and I just sit back and I just say to myself, I watched a documentary. I think it's Code Bias. I think is what it's called. It's on Netflix. And guys, if you sitting around worrying about what the Simmons are doing and what and these algorithms are being written to really feed into that nonsense, and they're gonna eat us all alive if we don't start paying attention. The biases that are written into the AI. I'm gonna find that link and bring it up, because the trailer on it is enough in itself. I think it's called Code Bias. So, and social media is really just it's just sugar. It's just feeding the negativity that we chase after. And they said, if you want that type of negativity, we'll send you some more. If you want to watch a bunch of videos of people working out or cats or fighting and all that, we'll send you that. But if you just want to watch toxicity, we'll have that stuff in your feed all day long.
And by the way, to everybody who watches us, who loves the Shade Room, who thinks the Shade Room is so pro-Black, they are not as pro-Black as you want them to be. Trust me, I know that for a fact. Mm-hmm. They have partnered with a lot of right-wing political organizations to pump their politics into Black spaces. So...
Yeah, so
stay woke, I guess, is the response I should have. So,
but the problem that we have in part is that we're really at a place where we know the difference. We've lived the difference. This is the movie I'm talking about, Coded Bias. Okay. I want you guys to go and look up this movie, Coded Bias. That sister right there, I can't pronounce her last name, but she's at MIT. And when this was out in 2020, she was working on her doctorate. She's now Dr. Joy Buyolam. Okay, you see her name right there. I ain't gonna. Okay. I've already disrespected her enough. But this movie was very thought provoking in how she was working on a project, and some facial recognition project, and the facial recognition could not recognize her because her face was dark. As soon as she put a white mask over her face, it recognized
I remember this.
Yeah.
I remember when this came out, because this made the Today Show and CNN and a couple other things.
Okay. Well, I saw it for the first time, and it was very, very amazing. So anyway, all right. So let's move on. What other stories we got that's going to support our case on the toxicity of social media?
Anita Baker.
Anita Baker. If you guys have not been following this show, we waited for years and years and years for Anita Baker to come back out. She is semi-retired for a while.
Yes.
And then she came out and announced this tour last year. We were all super excited about seeing Miss Anita, Auntie Anita, who to this day I apologize and compositions.
That is the one song that I sing full out in the car. I don't care who's in the car with me. Omar could be sitting next to me. I'm like, you're in the way of my arm space to sing the song. Like, I need to really do this, okay?
So Anita, who's I think she's 60, 65 years old, I believe she's in that age range, right? Of age range, you don't do social media, Miss Anita. This is not what you should be spending your time on. And so evidently
No.
in New Jersey, a little while back, there was a situation in Jersey where
Yep.
Babyface did not perform that particular concert because there was some
Which was not
electrical
her fault, by
issues
the
or
way.
something or whatever. And
It was
so
yeah.
yeah, he didn't perform, but Babyface did not perform that night. And instead of it being a thing where they just moved on, she went to social media and started reading the comments, and that's all you need is like feeding the beast.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what ended up happening. A situation where Anita started going back and forth and trying to tell Babyface to go out there and go tell your fans to stop, and Babyface obviously looking at her like, Anita, you don't understand how this works. and Babyface takes the high road, and he hits with the heart emojis and all this, and Anita kicks him off the tour, right? And once again, it's one of those things where instead of having a conversation with Babyface or dealing with this stuff professionally, she let social media drag her into the mud, and that's just, it's so unfortunate because for people who bought those tickets to go see Babyface and Anita, which I know was an amazing show, I know people went to the show here in Atlanta. They got cheated because of social media. Because of social media.
And you're right. It's definitely because of social media. Because like you said, Anita is Auntie Anita. She don't know nothing about social media. She doesn't know to be like, I don't want to look at any of this. You know? And a lot of people are saying it's both for their faults because, Babyface is the one who got on social media and said, well, I'm not performing with Anita tonight because of whatever reason, because she wanted to cut my set short. And maybe Anita's team was like, well, wait a minute. It wasn't that serious. It was the people with the electric issues. And Anita, another thing people keep forgetting, Anita was the headliner for this. It wasn't some co-headlining situation. It was Anita's tour and then headlining, not headlining, but what is it?
He was the undercard, Babyface.
The opener is Babyface.
Right.
So if she needs to do her full set, she needs to do her full set. So I feel like him coming out and even making a comment about it in general.
Well,
why did he?
And this was the gist of his comment. I'm saddened by the news that Anita Baker decided to remove me from the Songstress tour. It's unfortunate. It's heartening to see how things are played out via social media. While I was looking forward to the rest of the days, I have nothing but love and respect for Anita and wish her the best for the remainder of her tour. This reminds me of when Babyface and Teddy Riley were on the Versus. And Babyface was so prepared, he was ready, and Teddy Riley played himself. Babyface is a professional.
Teddy had his hand on his hip, looking back at his band, like, why
looking
are you
at
not
his band
ready?
on it. Then he trying to do his own major concert
this?
tour, and Babyface sitting there with his guitar, sitting right there by the engineering board, like, Teddy, you ready? I'm ready. You ready?
Babyface didn't even have no pants on. He had on sweats. He had on his comfy shoes. He was like, all that band stuff, yeah. But I get what you're saying, but none of these comments, his original comment before this one, there was an original comment when he couldn't perform that he didn't need to make. This comment he didn't really make. He's making a lot of, he's being passive aggressive. He's being passive aggressive.
Sure he is. But we have to also understand that Babyface is not just like she tried to demean him by saying this is my undercard, this is my, she basically tried to sell Babyface like he was a sidekick. Sorry, man. Babyface
is the sidekick in this scenario. He is the sidekick.
No.
Okay. Oh, let me give you another scenario then. Babyface is leading a headlining tour. He has Tank on the tour. And Tank can't perform. Now Tank is acting like a donkey. And Tank's fans are coming for Babyface. What would Babyface do?
He wouldn't have done nothing. Exactly what he did right now.
You're a liar. No.
I'm not. Because Babyface is
No.
much more poised than that. Babyface is not going to spend his time up. Do we need to pull up the visuals of Anita going back and forth with people in the Twitter? Babyface ain't going back and forth with people on Twitter. Babyface, I bet you we looked on Babyface's.
I do feel like Babyface would have kicked Tank off the tour.
I would say kicking Tank off. It's all that stuff is done behind the scenes, right? You deal with this stuff. The problem that Anita made the mistake of allowing herself to be drawn into this nonsense. Babyface made his statement. And I bet you if I look at this thing right now, what do you not see over here in the comments, kid? You do not see Babyface saying anything else but what he put in that doggone. No. This is Babyface's post. You know what he put in there? A heart. That's it. That's it. And so you got to realize you get to the point where you're just like, is it worth it? Is it worth it to sit up here and lose this bread? And because here's the thing, people are not going to come see her now in some cities because Babyface is not
Oh
there.
no, that's a fact. That's 100% a fact.
Yeah.
Because Anita Baker by herself, my mama's crew gonna go. But my mama and I going, I'm gonna need to have Babyface coming, and I want to hear a little bit of the younger variations of songs.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, they are basically of the same generation, right? You know, because Babyface 60. Yeah, Babyface ain't that young. He looks like he's young, but Babyface has been out since the late 80s as well, right?
look at him with his skincare.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Skincare.
Babyface is going back to the deal. You're talking about 86, 87. People been following Babyface. It's the same
I don't know what the
market,
deal is.
huh?
I don't know what the deal is. We don't have time for this. We're moving on.
Think of you on 2 occasions.
Is that the name of the song, The Deal?
Jesus Christ. The name of the
No, for
group.
real.
The name of the group is The Deal, and Babyface was a part of that group. And if you go listen to that song now, you will immediately hear Babyface's voice, like, "Oh, that is Babyface." So,
Can I sidetrack you really quick?
can you
Just
what?
really quick. Can I sidetrack you from this conversation really quick? Me and Omar watched Space Jam yesterday. Why? No
How
real
you
reason. We just
sidetracking
did.
from Babyface and Anita Baker to Space Jam? Go ahead. You
There's a
took us there now.
reason.
Huh?
Space Jam reminded me how good soundtracks to movies back in that era used to be,
Oh,
where
yeah.
the soundtrack could just stand alone by itself.
Yeah.
Space Jam, Soul Food, Love
Yeah.
Jones,
Love Jones. Amazing.
Waiting to Exhale.
Amazing. With Babyface on it. Yes. So
Didn't
I
he
see
do
your
Space Jam
juxtaposition.
as well?
Huh?
Didn't he do Space Jam too, or was that?
I have no idea,
Somebody
but I know part of they tell me part of Babyface's show is him sitting there and playing all the songs he's written and won Grammys for, right? Like Babyface has been as a prolific a writer as he's been a performer. But my point with the whole Babyface Anita Baker thing is that, you know, Anita was quiet for 10 or 15 years. Like people wondering, like she was like the old Lauryn Hill, right? So like, well,
And we talked about why she was quiet, because she didn't want her music on streaming. Wasn't that the weird streaming thing?
it could have been, you know, her not
Okay.
understanding what the game was. And Andre says New Jack City, and New Jack City was the bomb. Diggity, yes, it's the bomb soundtrack, no question. And that was a whole nother conversation about the streaming piece and her getting her royalties and all that type of stuff. But you know, and that's just the part too. It's just like, Anita, go out there and perform. People will pay hundreds of dollars to see you perform every summer. Like, go out there and perform, make your money on the
Absolutely.
road. But it is what it is. So point being, man, you know, once again, another example of toxicity with social media, which caused Auntie Anita
Yeah.
to probably lose some bread because they got to refund tickets. People are not going to come to these shows because, Anita, you're great. You're amazing. But so is Babyface. And to me,
You want the next toxic situation? Oh, keep going. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. No, but we can wrap that up. What's the next toxic situation you want to go talk about?
It's the same look trending on Twitter when Samuel L. Jackson lost the Tony Award for the piano lesson. I forgot who he lose to, and it's not really important, but they panned the camera to him, and he did not clap. He was not nice about it. He wasn't happy about it. He was sitting there just like, are you effing serious? Because the piano lesson is a revival play by August Wilson. It's an amazing play. It's actually produced by Candy Burris and her husband, Todd Tucker.
Oh, is it really?
And yes, and he lost. And people are now comparing his face, and his face looks so busted. But again, we talk about toxic social media. People were just like, oh my God, how dare he? I can't believe him. Oh, he's just as bitter as Angela Bassett. I'm like, he's not bitter. People can be disappointed with losing an award. The Tony Award is a big award. We're not talking about somebody losing an MTV Award or a BET Award or an NAACP Award. This is the Tony Award. And this would, you know, get him one step closer to being an EGOT.
Hey, here's the thing, man. Once again, the toxicity of social media. I don't care what happens. There will be somebody out there in this world that will attempt to drag everybody for everything, especially if you're a public figure like a Samuel L. Jackson. I haven't seen this. I don't know what happened with this. This could have been not even the correct frame. This could have been someone said something.
No,
We
he
don't
looked
know.
mad the whole time. I'm not gonna. I watched it.
You know,
He
but Samuel Jackson always looked mad. He either smiling or he looked mad. That's just Samuel Jackson. And I'm wondering if he's come out and said anything about this. he's one who might come out and say something, but
I think he already did. I don't have the comment that he made, but his comment was kind of just like, yeah, I was mad. I'm not sure what you guys were expecting.
what do you
Like,
expect? He's 70-something years old, and he's trying to win. 74 years old, which in itself, I was watching, what is it? The series with Sylvester Stallone, Tulsa King, I think is what it's called, right?
Oh, Tulsa King. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard that was good.
And we just started watching it. It's the summertime. Ain't no show. None of our shows are on, so we're gonna pick some new stuff to watch. And I was like, man, Sylvester Stallone is 75 years old. There's so many of these folks we've been following for so long, and it's like, one, it makes you realize, okay, all right, Brother Lloyd, you're not as young as you used to be. Samuel Jackson, 74. Sly Stallone, 75. So that means that
How old is Arnold? Because he got.
I was getting ready to say Arnold Schwarzenegger's got to be 70 now. It's crazy now when you look at and a lot of these folks, we were looking. Trey and I were looking at Sly like, man, Sly's still in great shape, man. He's 75 years old. He look like he's still ready to knock somebody out.
The Botox has settled in his face, though. Remember, he got Botox and it was.
Oh man, it's crazy. All right, so anyway, but Samuel Jackson, he didn't like he lost. Anybody that's smiling because they lost, you fronting anyway. So stop lying to the public. We know you don't like losing. All right, what else? What other stories did we? Let's make sure we run down because there's a lot of stuff been going on. Make sure we didn't miss anything that we had on our little list.
Do we want to go sad stuff? Well, let's go. Starbucks is ordered to pay $25.6 million to the manager who said she was fired for being white. If you remember this woman, she is the woman who called the police on the two black men who had walked into Starbucks and didn't buy anything. And when she talked to them about buying something, it turned into a race war for some stupid reason.
Yeah, that whole situation was and actually at that time, Roz Brewer was still the CEO of Starbucks, and that was a whole thing that she had to deal with that. But this woman gets $25.6 million in a verdict. Now, it's just the irony in it, right? These dudes get arrested for sitting in Starbucks and just being black. This woman goes to court and says, you fired me because I'm white, and they give her $25 million.
The irony is, first of all, white manager girl, why did you care? Did they look like two crackheads who were gonna sit in there and not have a meeting for hours and hours? Because we see multiple people have meetings in Starbucks. They don't buy coffee. They don't do anything. They sit in there and have a meeting. Okay, fine.
Right.
You didn't have to call the police. Now, black guys, when she asked y'all to leave, y'all could just been like, all right, we'll leave. You're just a jackass, and y'all could have leave. Y'all decided not to leave. I feel like this is a multi-era situation.
But the multi-era, who walked away with $25 million and who's still out here trying to raise money for their business? Right.
But we also don't know what the black guys walked away with. It was never disclosed because they ended up getting.
If they walked away with $25 million, we would know. We would know. So, some of this stuff.
Let me just finish the statement really quick. I feel like this is where the white people's era is. If you're going to try to take my livelihood when I was doing company policy, then I'm coming back for every single penny that I deserve. I'm coming back for all of my money. And can we blame them for that?
Well, no, you can sue anybody for anything. I mean, that's part of the game. But the fact that the jury awarded her $25 million instead of laughing her up out of there, like, what did you do for us to give you $25 million? Girl, get out of here. Nope. They said, you know what? We understand. You're damaged.
And maybe it's because of the embarrassment.
I bet you she took that embarrassment in stride. And here's the thing. We've been saying this for the last couple of years. God bless all the situations. As much as there's still police situations and people are dying at the hands of police. The CNNs and the MSNBCs of the world, and definitely not Fox. They're not running with those stories talking about it no more. What stories are they running with? They're definitely running with all these stories about DE&I and how all these white grievances are out here and all of this. The era of white guilt is fastly dissipating, guys. So,
well, can we talk about another toxic online situation, which I know you don't want to talk about?
Is it Nick Cannon?
I know
again?
it's going to. Is it the what?
It's not Nick Cannon again, is it? That's always who I don't want to talk about.
Oh, it's not. If you thought Nick Cannon wasn't okay, so this is going to be a hard one for Miguel, and I understand that because Miguel doesn't like these topics. But another part of toxic social media is people think just doing it for social media, doing it for the gram. I'm an activist. So there was a transgender woman, Rose Montoya, who went to the lgbtq+a celebration at the White House and decided for some reason, I'm going to take my top off and do the jiggle jaggle with my boobies out there in front of children. Now,
okay.
But I don't know what to call it. What do you call that? What do you call when someone?
This is your story. You go ahead and lead with this. Go ahead. I'm gonna double dutch my way in this.
I don't know what to call it. But the LGBTQIA celebration at the White House, like most celebrations at the White House, are family friendly. Like I don't care what it is. Easter, Christmas, they're all family friendly. LGBTQ events is no different. She ended up being banned from the White House and got a lot of backlash. And the people she got a lot of backlash from was her own trans community. I read all of her comments. I literally was up at 5 a.m. like, let me read every single one of these. Not one person supported her. Even though she came out and said, no, I'm an activist for the transgender community. And as an activist, we need to free the nipple. And why is my chest so sexualized? And it was a whole diatribe of BS. But it makes me wonder, this is another part of the toxic social media where I'm going to get out and do this. I'm going to shake my bubbies in front of all these people and they're going to love me. Completely misguided, but they're going to love me. So I'm going to do it.
Yeah. It's almost like the decorum is no one has to have any decorum. Right. And all this body positivity, this is not a body positivity thing. This is, you were at the White House and you took off your shirt and showed your breast on the White House lawn with the president right there. Like, like, come on, man. Like, this level of I can do whatever I want, and it's a form of bullying, and that's the part that people don't want to deal with. This is a form of bullying.
And it made me feel happy. I'm sorry that a lot of every single trans person in their comments, Twitter, comments, TikTok, it's like, you set us back years. Now all the right wing is going to do is show your picture and say we're sexualized, we're grooming, we're doing this. When the majority of us would never in a million years go to the White House, this massive opportunity, and do what you did. And I was like, yes, queer community, wear her ass out. And she finally had to delete the video where she was defending it to come back and say, I'm so sorry for my actions. I shouldn't have done that. And the queer community still was like, no, stupid. Where was the original video you posted defending what you did? Like, I appreciated that. But it still made me think, Rose, you were so busy trying to get clicks and views, you didn't realize the bigger ramifications that this would have for your already marginalized community.
And that's the part that really it really bothers many folks of us. But like you said, the fact that she was dealt with by their own community, it's the way it should have been. You know what I mean? After it's all said and done, some of this stuff is just not our business. And that's the stuff that I always kind of get into with, is that, guys, live your life. Stop trying to, trying to make everybody, this is, and I don't know if this is, I think this is the scene where it might have happened. This is the president, man. Like, this is the president. You putting him in such a position and knowing, there it is.
He wasn't near her, but then she does this.
Right. And so you're looking at it and you're sitting up and you're saying to yourself, like, what did you think that you were going to accomplish by doing this? Right.
And again, I see what she's doing because the other two men on both sides of her are also former or trans men who've had their top surgery. But even that's not appropriate. This is not the Pride Parade in New York City going past Stonewall. That's where you take your shirt off and do your booby dance. Not at the White House. Put your shirt on. Put your dress top up. Keep your bra on.
Right. And so you got the attention you were seeking because you wanted to get it from social media. You are a TikTok person, so I guess you got yourself some more clicks and more follows on TikTok and all of that. And then you come out with the fake apology. The whole, I apologize for my actions. And you don't care about apologizing for your actions. You can care less about apologizing for your actions. Save it. We know that this was a show. This was a complete show for you, and let's hope that you got out of it whatever you were looking for. But, the conversation, the grander conversation that we have that you just said, I'm glad that the trans community in that scenario were policing themselves, right? Because to me, she has to deal with the backlash. It is now something that has to be dealt with, but it doesn't have to be dealt with by me. It doesn't have to be dealt with by you. You're not a part of that community. It's over and it's done with. But now, as you said, you're dealing with what sort of negative backlash in the long term you're going to have for the position you're trying to keep. And so there are many folks that are in the LGBTQIA community and the trans community just trying to live whatever they feel like are normal lives, right? And this, as you said, it's just like, somebody who's a heterosexual man running out here. He gets on the lawn, and just because he wants to, who's going to stop some nut job to get out there and say, well, I'm just going to pull my joint out? If the trans person can do X, Y, and Z, then why did she get to expose and I can't get to expose, right? So then you're gonna start having people challenging that. This opens up a can of worms that is it worth it, guys? Is it worth it, trans community? And evidently, as you said, to them it wasn't. They went after that person and went after them, and hopefully they will figure out how to do it better next time. As I'm watching this and on the screen over here, I guess this whole Bud Light thing and the country music folks not liking Gart Brooks, that's a whole different conversation about how this stuff is just being dealt with. We're in a weird space.
If you turn against Garth Brooks, don't call yourself an American. Garth Brooks, you don't get no more American than Garth Brooks, do you?
Not in my, I got friends in low places. I made a lot of money off that song as a bartender, boy. Anytime those country boys came to the bar, I gave them all the liquor they wanted. But that song came on.
But Garth Brooks is Americana.
Yeah.
Like red checkered tablecloths and hot dogs and apple pie. Garth Brooks. It all goes together.
Evidently, folks in that community, country music community, and the hard right community, they're not digging Garth Brooks right now because he got Bud Light on his tour. So, we talk about this whole, and it's not going to get any better, man. The more people get more clicks and views, than immediate adoration of, I put that video out there and I got 5,000 hits. It's not going to get any better, guys. It's going to continue to go down this spiral, and we got to find ways, as a matter of fact, we haven't done it in a couple of weeks, but let's go ahead and get This is a marketing mastery conversation. We got to find ways to leverage social media for the good. And I think you were talking to me offline about click-through rates and some of your clients in that conversation. Do you have any clients or who may be doing some questionable things in their social media to gain? Talk to us about that in our marketing mastery chip before we get out of here.
I do. I feel like, Miguel can agree with me, a lot of clients want to go with their own plan. And even if you give them data saying, hey, your click-through rate is a 0.05%, they're still just like, but that's fine. I got all these impressions. Eyes are great. But if no one cares enough to click on your content, you're basically wasting money, especially on Facebook when they charge you for CPMs, which means cost per impression, basically. Yep. That's how they're charging you. So if you're not getting some kind of ROI from this, it doesn't make any sense. I have another person, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, who's like, should I add another tripwire? Will that help people? No, if they don't like your content, the tripwire doesn't matter.
What is a tripwire? That's a news to me. What is a tripwire?
So what a tripwire is after they come in and they opt in, they're given another sales page where they can say, hey, here's this free offer. Here's this low budget offer for $5.
Yeah.
But if you have a free PDF, then you have a $35 offer, then you have a high-end offer, then another offer they go into, you adding a fifth one on doesn't matter. They don't want to consume your content, so the tripwire doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I deal with a lot of that. I really want people to realize your voice, your writing to get that grab for people is the most important part. Them clicking on your content is the most important part. You just getting views out there, it doesn't matter. No one cares. No one cares.
Yeah.
Anybody can get views.
So anybody. So as you got clients who are getting views and still can't figure out how to make money off those views. A lot of times it is really about the content, which I know the answer to this, but this is your marketing mastery tip. This is your marketing mastery tip of the week from Kia.
I know. Let's use a real person example. Danae Jackson. Danae Jackson is Derek Jackson's soon-to-be ex-wife. I don't know. She has a $5,000 offer out there that people are ripping her to shreds about.
Yeah.
She has not properly promoted this thing left, right, or sideways. She's going off the fact that she's promoting it organically, that it's getting so many clicks and views, and people are opting in. Nobody's opting in. She's only promoting it through her social media account, where people can comment and say, I hope you hear from Derek dumping you. I hope Derek takes care of the kids. I hope this and that. No one's actually opting into this offer because she hasn't set up this funnel properly.
No,
she's not setting it up to get clicks. And I wish I could reach out to her because I said bad things about her on YouTube, but maybe Miguel can, so that maybe Miguel can to help her, because it's sad, because I think people are saying how she's a con artist and you're just capitalizing it, but she is capitalizing it, and she probably has some valid information to give out that she needs to just put out properly.
But it's weird. Like, she's trying to tell, I think what I saw on it, that she's trying to teach people how to deal with a cheating husband or something.
Yes, that is her. Yes, so, it's called HEALED, HEALED, and it's an acronym for something.
So out the gate, you are inviting you're inviting a binary response. People are either going to love you, they're going to hate you, right? Now, you want the people who are loving you to do more buying. Some people who hate you are still going to buy you, and this is from examples of people who are toxic and they still do this type of stuff. What you will understand is that most people are very successful on social media as far as selling courses and things of that nature. They are very agnostic about a lot of things. They kind of run middle of the road. If you want to sit up here and go one way or the other, now the people who are probably very successful with that are those right wingers. They can do that because they're so monolithic in their thinking. But when you're a progressive or middle road type of person, stick to the offer, stick to the business side. You start getting too deep into that's why I'm sure, and not to mention the price point. You're talking about $5,000. $5,000 is what you do. That's your third tier. Right, you got to have an introductory tier. There might be a free PDF, free ebook, something of that nature to get them in your funnel.
There's no free tier.
There's no free tier, and so you expect people out the gate to make a decision to give you the money that can buy some people a small used car just because they want to be nosy about how to heal from their man that's been cheating on them. You got to be out of your mind. That makes absolutely no sense, and that's why she's probably struggling. So go ahead.
You need to reach out to her. And I know we're doing mastery tips right now, but anybody, I feel like Miguel should reach out to her to say, hey, we don't even need money for this. We need to help you to cut this out and get it going in a better way. And that's anybody who, if you think you have a great plan or a great thing you want to teach, that's great. But you need to have a proper funnel set up first. That's my marketing mastery tip. You need a proper funnel. It can't just be, I'm just going to push this on social media because I have a large following. Great. You're opening up yourself for criticism. Fantastic.
You open yourself up to toxicity that's driving you bananas now, that got you divorced. You're talking directly to the audiences that put you in the situation that you're in. It's not a smart move, but no. Who are we? Who are we to say? Well, we're actually two pretty successful marketers. That's who we are. All right. So great show today. Yeah. And, we'll continue to, we got to start. We got to have a couple more. We haven't had any guests on in a minute. So we're going to start working on a few guests because I know y'all tired of looking at us every week. So we're going to start working on a couple guests. There's some things that I'm seeing is going on in the market right now. Everybody got a daggone podcast, and so many people that I hear talking, I'm just like, man, I could just never do that. I just could never have those type of conversations. So we never will. We'll continue to build our audience. We'll continue to be who we are, and we'll continue to entertain you guys. Peace. I'm gonna find me some need. Peace.
Bye, guys.